Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 16th of February. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, yesterday we saw quite a sell-off at one stage once again, but we corrected the whole day. And I'm looking at this thinking, well, is that a proper correction reversal bar that we put in there? Or we're going to just see a continuation as we run down. Often when you see this sort of these long shadows below, long wicks, it may be a suggestion of a change of direction. We saw it at the top here, it fired up, but just couldn't hold on to the gains here, sold off, but there was buyers coming in. So question today really is, are we going to carry on seeing this upside? However, we seem to have gone straight into a 4-hourly 34 at the moment and having a bit of a reaction to that. There are areas above us where we could get further reaction in terms if it does run into. Of course, we're now below a lot of key moving averages, particularly the short-term ones, the 821, which often just stall things. We've got this cross above us, the 50 crossing the 200, bearish cross occurring on the 4-hourly, which is all quite negative. So there is some potential resistance and negativity. The other thing I'm looking at, of course, is the daily pivot sitting below us, which could see us, or we could see a retrace back towards that. Hadn't quite got up to R1 sort of stage. It was a bit of a weak divergence at the highs there, and it's rolling over a little bit at the moment. So at the moment, I'm just waiting for pre-8 o'clock. Maybe we'll see this daily pivot hit. Whether it continues through there then is another thing. But if it gets down that way, for the top side here, well, there's, as I said, the possibility. The thing with the short-term moving averages on the dailies, they can be quite magnetic. We can pull back to those sort of 8s, 21s. It would tie up probably quite well with a move back to a 60-minute 200, for example, and so we could see a retracement up to there, but just need to see some sort of reversal, something. I say reversal, but continuation in this particular case. But would need to probably see that off the shorter time frames. Looking at cable, similar but not so strong move yesterday. It sold off, recovered, and ended up less of a recovery, and it's still in this, to me, this sort of where it's actually forming a proper wedge now. Let me just click on here, get got a sort of wedge occurring now. It's not had there's some decent points during the day, and it's had as more, probably more generally points than the euro, but it's not in a trend as such, and it's a bit more choppy. Arguably, it was in a bit of a downward trend running into yesterday, but there is quite a lot of chop in here. There is the more bullish candle probably on that 4-hourly, and well, there may be more recovery for both these pairings, but again, we've got the daily pivot. Maybe easier to trade on the downside here if it breaks that 60.21, maybe. Yes, we've got the other one curling up behind, which may provide some support, but somewhere along that line, there's a trend line across there, may give us an opportunity to run it back towards that daily pivot. Upside wise, a bit more difficult to be, again, not simple to be looking at where they may go yet, and I do wonder sometimes when you see this first thing in the morning, a bit of movement through the later Asian session, whether we'll see a sort of a spike up in the just post 8 o'clock, and then we may be looking for a retrace back a little bit. Dollar yen, well, this looks again another reversal pattern. Nice clean shooting star into the monthly pivot there. It's broken and closed below the 4-hourly 21. It's got significant short-term support in terms of that 21 and 8 sitting on the dailies there. They may just, if it pulls back, may give it some support. Still got a weekly untouched pivot way below, but well, needs to get a wiggle on if it's going to move down there before the end of the week. Now, it has been in quite a reasonably tight range. Again, it's probably easier on the downside here today for the yen in terms of what may happen. Limitation maybe in terms of the S1, but a breakthrough. We've got the 500 rolling below, so there are some sort of points below it. And it may get down towards yesterday's lows towards that S2 area. Any move to the upside, well, we have got again the daily pivot. So any strength of the US dollar this morning, we could see all the pivots run for. Aussie dollar, mixed news apparently on the job front, but it did manage a bit of a spike up through the Asian session there, pushing up even further. Might find some support off this 4-hourly 8, we'll see. Again, it's as I said for a long time now, it's certainly the stronger of many of the pairs here. I know someone that was in a little bit of a swing long at me, wish they had stayed in their swing long though. Anyway, the daily pivot's near enough hit. I mean, that's almost a simple target now. If it pops down, that'll be fine. To the upside, a little bit more, well, possibly just waiting for a trend break there in terms of this sort of zone here for a bit of a trend break and push up towards that weekly pivot above, and there's a combination of R1 sitting up there as well. So would be quite a strong resistance point, I would suggest. Okay, Canadian dollar should just probably switch on the Canadian dollar. We'll just look at the price of oil, just see what's happening there. Just consolidating, it's fine. So Canadian dollar is up to its own direction. So not a lot happening. It's a bit bitty like cable in some respects, although in a tighter range. Sold off a little bit after yesterday's rally there. Still really looking to see if it breaks this bigger daily range here. Okay, so if we start seeing a push, any weakness, any dollar strength coming through here, we could see it passing those. I'd be waiting for it to pass the 60.21s, and it may make it back to its daily pivot, so untouched below. Very clear wedge yesterday, actually. You can see the wedge yesterday, it did just pip out. Didn't actually trigger a trade where I was looking for something below the 34, didn't trigger anything quite for that. And later in the day, fulfilled pretty much the size of that wedge for that move upwards. So it's a classic little pattern there that occurred later on in the day. Pity I didn't trade it, but we were short euro at the time, so we did okay. Anyway, so from here, yep, possibility to get back up towards, and it sort of fits with this choppiness that we're seeing at the moment with the Canadian dollar. But as I say, we need to see some dollar strength pushing in here to create that. So as I said, Aussie data a little bit mixed, but employment change was good. Unemployment rate fell. But what we got today left, well, not a lot really. We've got the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts, which don't really create any volatility at all at 12:30 p.m. But you never know, we may get a tickle. And then at 1:30 we've got US building permits, not really a big mover these days. The Philly Fed manufacturing index, not much of a mover, and the weekly unemployment claim. So I don't expect a lot of volatility at 1:30 coming through there. Just probably relatively small 15 pip type moves, if that. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great one. Bye for now.